Oh, yes, international football's nearly finished. So this week we're asking the question, how to beat West Brom. The Canaries need to get back on track. 1 win in 8 is not good enough. So this week we're talking about how on earth they can win at the Hawthorns. We're also looking at the Opta data and our Norwich under or overperforming and talking about that summer transfer window grading. We're putting it finally to bed. Also, which Championship managers do we rate? We've got Jacob and Matty back with us on Where Canaries Walk. If you haven't yet done so, please just drop us a subscribe. We're really looking to get to 60 subscribers by the end of the week, and you can help us do that. Right, let's jump straight into it there, Matty. You got a ticket for the Hawthorns for this one?
I have indeed, yes. I've been to the Hawthorns a few times. It's a proper ground, isn't it? It's not the best away end in terms of the concourse and stuff, but it is a proper ground. So yeah, looking forward to getting back to the football. International breaks are just boring when they're not a major tournament, so I'm looking forward to Saturday, yeah.
Absolutely. Jacob, the international break couldn't have come at a better time for Norwich, couldn't it, with the amount of injuries that you had? Who do we suspect will be back, if anyone at all?
From what I've seen, I think Angus Gunn might be back. Nunez could be a doubt, but I guess we'll see. I'm not really sure at the moment.
Let's pick the team then, shall we? Both of you can have a go at this one. This was the team that, of course, started 2 weeks ago against Bristol City. Like we said a couple of weeks ago, Matty, this whole team could look so different at the Hawthorns, couldn't it? Where do you see the changes happening if they come?
Well, I would like, of course, I think I speak for, I'm going to say 99.9% of Norwich City fans for a different goalkeeper. So hopefully Angus Gunn's back fit. And the other really necessary, or not necessary, but the one other definite change will be Fisher. I think picked up a yellow card against Bristol City, which I think takes him across the threshold of yellows. So Jack Stacey will start at right back. But apart from that, I think that back four will very likely be the same.
Jacob?
Again, get Long out. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, but that's the guaranteed one. And in midfield, I prefer having what's his name, Amanka Forson in. I think he's really looking better now, but I guess we'll see what Hoff Thorup says. And looking at strike, the attacking force, I think that would stay the same.
Just on that one, actually, Mark, I understand why Hoff Thorup thought about playing or did play Marcondes as a false nine yesterday, but Cernats, I know he's played out wide for most of his games for us, but he is also a number 9. So he played as a number 9 against Cardiff. He didn't have the best of games, but give him a run. We know Sargent's out for a while. Give him a run up front. He's big, he's physical. Can he use his body? Can he hold the ball up? Give him a challenge and give him a run at number 9, because we didn't look like we had anything going forward against Bristol City. So that would be the other thing, as I would still play Marcondes, but I would play Cernats through the middle.
Okay. In terms of West Brom, then, Jacob, they've had a lot of draws. Of course, they're currently in the top 6 where you aim to be. How do you play against a team that obviously likes to play with width, as they do, where they've got Fellows, obviously Fellows on one side and Johnson on the other. What sort of how tactically do you need to set up against them?
Probably the same way most teams set up against us when it comes to Borja Sainz, because if you mark him out of the game, then we're pretty much rubbish, and just mark them 2 wingers out of the game, and I think we should be all right. But then again, we might play a bit defensive, considering they're playing at home and they're much higher in the league than us, and they're a better team as well.
Okay, all right. We're also looking at Opta stats, as we mentioned, then on our opening gambit. So we've got some actual versus expected point scores from the games up to before the Bristol City game, and I wanted to have a look at what your view on this was. So Norwich City sit based on XG and shots in the game and what points you should have got, actually sit 7th in the league, with an expected point score of 21.5, and actually only picking up 19 up to the 18 up to the point that this was done. So you have slightly underperformed in relation to the shots that you've obviously had and the shots that you've faced. Matty, does that match the games that you've been watching?
Probably. Probably. If you look at the Cardiff game, being a good example, I know we're talking XG, but as that translates into points, which is shown in terms of 7th, we obviously scored a very good goal. We had one cleared off the line. So we go from having 3 points in the, whatever it was, 89th minute to conceding the equaliser to then losing it in added time. And you go from all of a sudden 3 points to no points. So that's, for me, is a good example of us just maybe not being either clinical enough, which is something Hoff Thorup spoken about a couple of times, and also not having a look at the draw, which I'm very, very hesitant to continue to use the injuries. But, there's definitely points here and there that I think we would have picked up or not lost had we had 3-4 first-team players playing as opposed to the team that we've been forced to pick.
Okay. All right, cheers for that. We're also talking about summer transfer windows. The reason we're doing this is because we need to talk to you about the January transfer window pretty shortly as we head into Christmas. So for the final time, now that you've seen everybody, because I remember you both saying, I've not watched everyone yet, we've not had many starting. I want you to now look back at the recruitment, now that you know how everyone's done, and give us a grade out of 10. Last time, Jacob.
I have to go down to a 6, unfortunately, because there's not many players who are players who should be playing week in, week out aren't performing as they should be. Like Forson, he's lost his magic spark. Who else is there? I can't remember. Sorry.
Matty?
Can't remember what I gave it originally. I gave it a 7 or 8, maybe. I think.
You gave it pretty high.
Yeah, I think I'd go 6.5, or maybe still a 7. I think the big thing is we haven't replaced. I appreciate I mentioned this before. We haven't got a good holding midfielder or added to the strength from home midfield, and we needed another out-and-out number 9 if Cernach is going to be playing either out wide or isn't the first choice to be playing up front. So Barnes. We didn't recruit him this summer, but as an option, he's injured long term, so he's not going to play a huge amount of football, certainly before Christmas. So, maybe a 6.5 or over a 6.6 out of 10 for me.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Finally, this week then, it's managerial merry-go-round season. Lots of teams sacking the managers left, right, and centre. Of course, it's international break is what they always do. So, a hypothetical question for you both. If Hoff Thorup was to jump ship to, let's say, Southampton, for example, at some point, which current Championship manager would you want your owners to chase the most? Who do you rate of the other 23? Jacob?
Might shock a few people, but I'll say Tom Cleverley. I think he's young, considering what Ben Napper likes to do is bring in young players, young manager, as we've done with Hoff Thorup. He's had a great start to the season, beating Sunderland. He's had a bit of a downfall as well when they got thrashed 4-1 at ours. But I think they're doing all right now. They got a win against Oxford and they're higher than us in the league. So definitely Tom Cleverley.
Interesting shout, that. Matty?
Daniel Farker? No.
Would you have him back? Would you?
I would have him. I would have him back. I don't think it would be the right thing to do, though. It's that whole thing of revisiting somewhere where you were successful. It could taint your reputation massively. So I don't think it would be right, despite the fact that the football romantic in me would love it. Matt Robbins is without a club. He doesn't necessarily excite me as a manager, but he harshly and unfairly was sacked, in my opinion. Michael Carrick's a very good manager, but he doesn't inspire me at all. Like, I don't know what it is. He just seems miserable. But so there's a couple out there. But I'll be honest with you, I would be very much gutted if we were to lose Hoff Thorup in the next 12 to 18 months, because I'm fully behind the project that he's building, and Glenn Russell is assistant manager, and bringing Jack Wilshere, and I think it's a positive thing. So I'm sorry to kind of ruin your question, Mark, but I'm going to stay in the confident side of saying let's keep hold of JHT and fight off anyone that might be interested in him.
Fair enough. It was hypothetical. We'll stress before we start getting, complaints in the comments. Right. Cheers for that. Then thank you very much, you two. We'll see you on the other side then of the West Brom game. Thanks very much. See you next week.